The Red Guitar. Chapter 1, The Beginning. As far back as I can remember, I always dreamed of being a rock and roll star. The first time I picked up my brother's guitar, I felt something special. It was as if the guitar spoke to me, and I knew this was my destiny. From that moment on, I practiced for hours every single day. At first, I didn't even know how to play properly. I would sit in my room, strumming the strings and trying to copy the sounds I heard on the radio. My fingers hurt from pressing down on the strings, but I didn't care. I played until my hands were sore, then I played some more. I taught myself how to play chords and simple songs, and little by little, I got better. Some days, I would lose track of time, completely lost in the music. I fell in love with rock and roll music the first time I heard it. It was wild, exciting, and full of energy. I remember hearing Elvis on the radio for the first time and feeling like my world had changed. The rhythm, the beat, it made me want to move. It was like nothing I had ever experienced before. Rock and roll wasn't just music. It was freedom. It made me feel alive, like anything was possible. Back in the 1950s, I was just another teenager with a guitar and big dreams. Like many young people, I hoped for something bigger than the small-town life I knew. But honestly, I didn't know if my dreams would ever come true. I wasn't a bad guitar player, but I wasn't amazing either. My singing was okay, but it wasn't enough to make me stand out. I played in a few local bands, but no one seemed to notice me. I worked a boring job that I didn't like, and my guitar felt like a door that wouldn't open. It seemed like I was going nowhere. At that time, I had a girlfriend named Mary Ellen. We had been together since high school, and we had plans to get married and start a family, just like everyone else in our town. We loved each other a lot. But life doesn't always go the way we expect. Everything changed when my music career started to take off. Mary Ellen was one of the first parts of my old life that I let go. Looking back now, I realize that success came at a cost. Sometimes, when you chase your dreams, you leave important things behind. Chapter 2. The Deal. A few years ago, I took a walk downtown. Everywhere was closed and I was just looking in shop windows at things I couldn't afford when I noticed a small music shop across the road. I'd never seen that shop before. So, I crossed over to take a closer look. The shop was filled with all kinds of instruments, but one guitar in the shop window caught my eye. It was a bright red guitar, shining under the store lights. I felt a strange pull, as if destiny was calling me. I tried the door, and it was open, so I went in. I always remember how cold it was in there. I heard a voice. "I saw you looking at that red guitar in the window. You have an eye for quality. It's one of a kind, don't you agree?" He was standing in the shadows behind the shop counter. He was tall. He was very tall. I knew right then and there that he wasn't your normal salesman. "Yes, sir, but I'm just looking," I said. "I don't mean to be offensive, but you look like a man with no money," he said, moving a little closer. "Yes, sir, like I said, I'm just looking." "Do you play?" he asked me. "A little, but I'm nothing special." "Perhaps you haven't found the right guitar. That guitar will make you special. Believe me when I say that guitar will change your life." And I did believe him. I felt my heart racing. He came out of the shadows and put both of his hands on the shop counter. "That guitar will make you a star. I can promise you that." He went and took it from the shop window and placed it on the counter. The strings vibrated slightly with a metallic hum. "Now, I can let you walk out of here with this guitar." But you need to leave something here with me. Your soul. I took a step back. My soul? I repeated, my voice trembling. The salesman smiled, his eyes gleaming. Yes, your soul. Think about it. With this guitar, you won't just play music, you will own the stage. The crowd will hang on every note. Every word. Fame. Fortune. Everything you've ever dreamed of will be yours. Isn't that what you want? I looked at the red guitar again. It was beautiful. Almost magical. My heart pounded in my chest. The weight of the moment pressed down on me. In my mind's eye, I saw it all. The wild audience. The girls screaming. The lights. That guitar would carry me across the stage like a streak of lightning. The only thing standing between me and the life I'd dreamed of was that one simple, devastating decision. All my life, I had been chasing a dream, but I was always just another face in the crowd. This was my chance to stand out, to be somebody. But my soul, I whispered, barely audible. Think about it, the salesman pressed on. How often does an opportunity like this come along? This guitar is your ticket to the top. All I ask is for something you hardly even use. Your soul. It's a small price to pay for a life of fame and glory. I felt a rush of excitement and fear. I knew I wanted that guitar, no matter what the cost. This was my moment. I surprised myself when I asked, "Does it come with a guitar case?" He smiled wider. "I take it we have a deal. Let's shake on it." So, I shook his hand, feeling a strange sensation as we made the pact. "What's your name, son?" "I'll need your name for my records." "Blaze." "Billy Blaze," I answered. "That's a good name, son." I left that shop carrying that red guitar, feeling a mix of excitement and apprehension. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had just made a deal with the devil. But it was too late to turn back now. My journey to stardom had begun, and there was no telling where it would lead. Chapter 3. The first time. When I took the red guitar home, my heart was racing. I carefully placed it on my bed and just stared at it for a moment. The light from the window made the red finish shine, and the strings seemed to glint with a life of their own. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever owned. Slowly, I picked it up and strapped it on for the first time. It felt heavy, but it also felt right, like it belonged there, resting against me. The leather strap smelled new, and the smooth wood felt warm under my fingers. I ran my hand over the body of the guitar and let my fingers brush against the strings. They made a soft metallic hum, and the sound filled the quiet room. I stood in front of the mirror, holding the guitar, and for the first time, I felt like a rock star. I imagined myself on stage, lights shining down, the crowd screaming my name. I could almost hear the roar of applause in my head. My reflection looked different, stronger, more confident. It was as if the guitar had given me a new identity. I strummed a few chords, not worrying about whether they sounded perfect. Each note seemed to carry a promise, a hint of the power this guitar held. I closed my eyes and let the music take me somewhere else, somewhere bigger, brighter, louder. It was a place I had only dreamed of before. That night, I didn't sleep much. I stayed up practicing, experimenting with sounds, and imagining all the places this guitar would take me. It felt like the start of something extraordinary, even if I couldn't explain it. The guitar wasn't just an instrument. It was a part of me now. Still, deep down, I couldn't shake the strange feeling I had when I left the shop. The salesman's words echoed in my mind. Your soul. I tried to push the thought away, telling myself it was just nonsense. But as I played the guitar, I couldn't help but wonder what kind of journey I had really signed up for. And what price I might have to pay. The next night, I went to a local bar, ready to play. The moment I stepped onto the stage, everything was different. I began to play, and the crowd stopped talking. Everyone turned to watch me. I could play the guitar. I mean, really play. My voice was raunchy. I had been waiting for this moment all my life. The crowd went wild. They loved me. They screamed for more. And I felt it, the power. The energy. The feeling of being unstoppable. From that night on, my life changed drastically. My name spread quickly across Memphis, and the rest of the South. Within weeks, my first single was recorded and released. It was an instant hit. My name was suddenly on everyone's lips, and I was invited to perform on popular radio shows and television shows. The fame I had always dreamed of was finally mine. My music was everywhere, and soon, I was traveling the country, playing in sold-out stadiums. People adored me. My songs were wild, dangerous, raw. Chapter 4. The Regret. As the years went by, my fame continued to grow, but so did my sense of loss. I had achieved my dream, but at what cost? The man in the shadows had given me everything I had ever wanted, but in return, I had lost a part of myself. The journey to stardom had been a thrilling ride, but it had also been a lonely one. I learned that fame, like everything else, comes with a price. One night, after a sold-out show, I was alone in my dressing room. The excitement of the performance had faded, leaving me with a sense of emptiness. I thought back to the night I had met the salesman and the deal I had made. Was it worth it? I stood in front of a mirror, looking at the man I had become. I was a superstar, adored by millions, everyone knew my face, but I no longer recognized that face. My fame had grown beyond anything I could have imagined. Yet, deep inside, I felt hollow, as if the soul I had given away left a hole nothing could fill.